Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. In the sun-drenched hills of Los Angeles, where the Forrester Creations empire pumped with ambition and the Logan family navigated the stormy rivers of love, Liam Spencer stood still in the doorway of his home. The air was dense with the aroma of new coffee and a small trace of Hope's perfume, which lingered from their morning embrace. But that embrace was now a distant memory, shattered by the words repeating in his mind. Hope had supported her father, Deacon, in his betrayal of Sheila Carter. She had watched as Deacon sought Taylor Hayes, fighting for his happiness even if it meant destroying his marriage to the turbulent Sheila. To Liam, it was more than simply family devotion. It was a risky endorsement of deception, the kind that could destroy all he valued. Liam's heart raced as he recalled the chat from earlier that day. He had overheard Hope speaking with her brother, or perhaps it was a confession made during one of their late-night discussions about family ties. "Dad deserves a chance at real love," Hope stated softly but firmly. "Sheila's been a nightmare for all of us. If he's found something with Taylor, who am I to stand in his way? I completely support him." Those words hit Liam hard. Support? For betrayal? Deacon Sharp, the man with a rap sheet longer than the Pacific Coast Highway, is cheating on Sheila, the lady who has terrorized their lives for years with her fixation, plots, and continual threat. Liam had worked hard to re-establish trust with Hope following their on-again, off-again relationship, the heartbreaks surrounding Steffi, the births of their children, and the losses that had challenged them. Now what? He carefully closed the door behind him, his footsteps echoing across the glossy floors of their large living room. Fortunately, Beth and Douglas were at school, which kept them safe from the approaching storm. Liam slumped onto the couch, his mind racing through the shared history that connected them all. Deacon had always been a wild card, a repentant bad boy who had worked his way back into Hope's life. Hope pushed for a relationship with her father, seeing redemption where others saw warning signs. Liam had tolerated it and even attempted to be polite for her sake. But do you support this? Encouraging Deacon to lie and sneak around behind Sheila's back while working on something with Taylor? Hope appeared to be treading on moral, treacherous ground. The anxiety at Forrester Creations had been evident just hours before. Hope had raced to Deacon's side during a violent family argument. Steffi Forrester, ever the protector of her own, questioned Hope about the rippling consequences. "Your father's mess is going to blow up in all of our faces," Steffi yelled, her eyes flashing with the fire of someone who has survived Sheila's anger too many times. Taylor, caught in the midst, appeared torn, her history with Ridge, and now this unexpected attraction to Deacon complicated matters. But Hope remained steady. "Dad has sacrificed so much. He deserves happiness without judgment. Sheila's toxicity poisoned their marriage long ago. I'm not going to pretend otherwise just to keep the peace." Liam had been there listening in the background, his gut tightening. He adored Hope, the way her eyes shone when she talked about her design brand, the loving mother she was to their children, and the perseverance that had seen her through scandals and heartbreak. Their recent reconnection felt like a new beginning, a marriage founded on forgiveness and shared dreams. Yet there she was, aligning herself with falsehood. As Liam drove home, the Pacific waves pounding against the rocks below the highway reflected the turmoil in his emotions. He pulled over once, holding the driving wheel until his knuckles whitened, mumbling to himself, "How can I trust her judgment when it comes to our family?" When Hope returned home that evening, the house was barely lighted, with a single lamp creating lengthy shadows. She kicked off her heels and called out softly, "Liam? You home early?" He appeared from the kitchen, his countenance solemn, holding a glass of water and setting it down undisturbed. "We need to talk," he replied, his voice firm but full of pain. Hope's smile faded as she saw the alteration. They sat across from each other at the dining table, where they had previously shared family dinners and laughs. Liam stated it plainly. He had heard about her support for Deacon and how she had actively urged him to follow his love with Taylor, even though it meant abandoning Sheila. Hope's eyes widened before narrowing in protection. "Liam, it's not like that." Dad was miserable. Sheila has been nothing but trouble, stalking, manipulating, endangering everyone we love. Taylor makes him happy. Why shouldn't I want that for him? Family means supporting each other, even when it's messy. He grabbed her hand, but he pulled back softly. Liam shook his head, his blue gaze fixed on hers. Messy? This isn't messy, Hope. This is betrayal. Deacon is lying to his wife, sneaking around, and you're cheering him on. What kind of message does that send? To our kids? To us? I've seen what secrets and affairs do to people. To us. Remember how many times we've been torn apart by lies? The argument escalated as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the room in hues of orange and pink. Hope fiercely defended her father, recounting the years of isolation Deacon had endured, the redemption he'd sought through Il Giardino, and his efforts to be a better man. Sheila trapped him in a toxic cycle. Supporting him breaking free isn't betrayal, it's mercy, Liam countered, citing his own scars. He discussed Sheila's previous misdeeds, the fear she instilled in Steffi and Finn, and how her presence had nearly destroyed families on multiple occasions. By supporting Deacon's affair, you're normalizing the very chaos Sheila thrives on. What if this blows up? What if Sheila turns her rage on us, on the kids? You've put blinders on because it's your dad. Hope's eyes welled up with tears as she stood and paced around the room. She reminded Liam of their own convoluted history, his hesitation between her and Steffi, his uncertainties, and the second chances they'd given the mother. We've both made mistakes in the name of love. Why can't you see it from my perspective? Deacon is my father, and I can't abandon him when he needs it the most. Liam rose as well, his voice cracking with passion. I see your side, Hope. I always try to. But this crosses into something I can't ignore. Supporting betrayal isn't love, it's enabling. And right now, with everything we've rebuilt, I need to know we're on the same page about integrity, about protecting what we have. The room was silent except for the faint sound of the outside world. Liam's thoughts turned to their wedding vows, which included promises of honesty and harmony. He had fought for this family, overcome his own uncertainties, and even stepped back at times to allow Hope to flourish. However, this felt different, as if there was a fundamental shift in values. Hope begged, her voice softening. We can work through this. Talk to Deacon together. Understand where he's coming from. But Liam's determination tightened. He thought of Beth's innocent face and the security they owed their children. I can't pretend this doesn't change things. I love you, Hope, but I won't build a life on shifting sands. If you stand by this choice so strongly, maybe we need some space to figure out what that means for us. Hope gasped, her palm leaping to her chest as the weight of his words sank in. Are you breaking up with me? Liam swallowed hard, tears welling in his eyes. I don't want to. God, I don't. But I can't stay in a marriage where I question every decision involving family loyalty. Your support for Deacon's actions, it's not just about him. It's about trust. And right now, mine is broken. He turned away, staring out the window at the twinkling city lights below, his shoulders slumped under the burden of the choice. The next morning provided no resolution. Hope slept in the guest room, her thoughts racing with images from their shared past. She recalled the early days, when Liam had swept her off her feet with his idealism and faith in destiny. They had endured storms, baby swaps, accidents, rivalries, but they always made it back. As she made breakfast for the kids, normalcy felt hollow. Liam joined them momentarily, his exchanges pleasant but remote, and a wall was built overnight. Beth saw the tension and asked why Daddy was upset, and Hope faked a grin, deflecting with promises of a park visit later. At Forrester, word traveled like wildfire through the grapevine. Steffi learned of the split and couldn't hide her concern, coupled with a tinge of satisfaction. Liam had always been her soft spot, even after their own messy entanglements. She pulled him aside in the design studio and offered him a listening ear. Hope's loyalty to Deacon is admirable in theory, but Liam, you have to protect yourself. She's choosing her father's drama over your peace. Liam nodded, appreciative but cautious. He didn't want to criticize Hope, but the anguish was intense. I thought we were past this kind of divide. Her defending betrayal. It makes me wonder what else she'd overlook. Meanwhile, Deacon was dealing with his own issues. At Il Giardino, he met Faith for coffee, his face carved with regret and newfound faith in Taylor. "Kiddo, I didn't mean for it to cause problems between you and Liam. But Taylor, she sees me, really sees me." Hope clasped his hand, expressing her support. "Dad, you deserve this. Don't let guilt stop you. Liam will come around, he always does." But deep down, uncertainty crept in. Had her unwavering support pushed Liam too far? She repeated his words, the pain in his voice, and wondered whether her family loyalty had blinded her to the wider picture. As the days stretched into an anxious week, Liam immersed himself into work at Spencer Publications, seeking solace in sales and deadlines. Nights were the most difficult. Empty bed, quiet house, once the kids were asleep. He confided in his father, Bill, who provided harsh advice mixed with Spencer bravado. "Son, love is a battlefield. If Hope's siding with Sharp's mess, draw the line. You've got options." But Liam wasn't seeking for options. He was mourning the loss of what they had. He missed Hope's laugh, her touch, and the way she kept him grounded amidst the Forrester Logan craziness. Hope found refuge in chats with her mother, Brooke, who understood the allure of difficult men all too well. "Honey, fight for your marriage. Liam was hurt, but your heart was in the right place." However, Brooke's words ring hollow against Hope and Liam's growing quiet. They co-parented civilly, school runs, dinners, but their connection faded. One evening, as they tucked Beth in, their gazes locked on the child's sleeping figure, a shared glimmer of what once was. "I never wanted this," Hope said quietly in the corridor. Liam groaned. "Neither did I." But ignoring it won't fix what's broken. The betrayal cast a shadow beyond their home. Sheila, suffering from Deacon's revelation and the probable end of their marriage, was filled with wrath. Whispers reached her regarding Hope's part in causing the breakup, stoking fantasies of confrontation. Taylor, caught up in the emotional maelstrom, questioned her own decisions, wondering if chasing Deacon was worth the collateral damage to Hope's family. Ridge, ever the patriarch, moderated family gatherings that only exacerbated tensions, with Steffi recommending caution and Finn emphasizing empathy for his mother's suffering. Liam found himself ruminating on his transformation from an idealistic young man who believed in soulmates to a father who valued stability. He had forgiven Hope's previous mistakes, her attraction to others, and her stubbornness. But this felt like a fundamental imbalance. Supporting Deacon's behavior was more than just one affair. It indicated a willingness to tolerate the kind of moral ambiguity that had nearly killed them previously. In quiet moments, he journaled his thoughts, pouring forth the love that remained despite the disappointment. Hope, too, struggled with introspection. She went to the beach alone one afternoon, the waves lapping at her feet while she considered her options. Had she been too eager to promote her father's happiness at the expense of her own? Deacon's excitement for Taylor was obvious, but at what cost? She texted Liam a simple message. "I miss us. Can we talk?" His response was measured. "Soon. I need time to process." Weeks passed, and mental agony ensued. The pair attended a family gathering at the Forrester home, where forced grins disguised the tension. Children played, grown-ups discussed plans and transactions, but Liam and Hope circled each other like cautious planets. A quiet encounter in the yard revealed real honesty. "Your support for Dad, it made me question if we'd ever align on the big things," Liam said. Hope nodded, tears streaming. "I see that now. I was so focused on his second chance that I didn't consider how it looked to you. But Liam, I love you. Our family is everything." Love, however, couldn't quickly heal the breach. Liam proposed counseling as a neutral location to examine the layers, past traumas with Sheila, familial attachments, trust issues created in soap opera fires. Hope agreed, but was also scared. Sessions revealed deeper truths, such as Liam's fear of being betrayed again, and Hope's inherent need to repair her broken father. Slow progress, punctuated by tiny successes such as shared chuckles over old memories and hesitant touches. External pressures increased during the personal storm. Sheila's erratic nature loomed, with whispers that she was planning a dramatic exit or worse. Deacon and Taylor's relationship began tentatively, giving fire to the Logan-Spencer feud. Hope's fashion line suffered from disjointed designs, whilst Liam's choices at Spencer revealed his inner strife. Friends like Wyatt advised Liam to fight or escape, but his heart drove him to reconciliation on solid footing. The immediate shock of the breakup gave way to a painful separation over the course of months. They lived apart briefly, co-parenting with elegance, but the void was enormous. Liam went on casual dates, exploring the waters that felt lifeless without Hope's flame. Hope concentrated on self-improvement, making amends with Steffi when feasible and reassessing her limits with Deacon. "I supported you because I love you, Dad," she told him one day, "but I can't lose my marriage over it." In the end, the narrative of Liam and Hope's schism over Deacon's betrayal became a monument to love's vulnerability in a world of connected fates. Liam's decision to walk away, motivated by self-preservation and principle, led them both to confront what truly mattered. Hope discovered that unflinching support had limits when it conflicted with collaboration. Whispers in Los Angeles hinted at a reunion, as soap operas thrived on second acts, but the wound lingered, a reminder that even the strongest friendships can disintegrate under the weight of divided loyalties. Their children remain the anchors, innocent bridges across the difference. Beth's illustrations of loving families touched people's hearts, while Douglas' queries sparked open discussions about adult decisions. Liam and Hope promised them unity, even though theirs was on hold. In quiet moments, Liam wondered if time would mend the trust, if Hope's development might realign their priorities. Hope, like her namesake, clung to the idea that forgiveness may pave the way for a new beginning. The betrayal of Sheila, Deacon's pursuit of Taylor, and Hope's unwavering support had set off a chain reaction that changed the relationships of the Forrester, Logan, and Spencer clans. Steffi formed an unlikely partnership with Liam to safeguard the family from the ramifications, while Finn managed his mother's anguish. Taylor struggled with guilt, making her relationship with Deacon bittersweet. Brooke mediated, referring to her own romantic roller coaster. Throughout it all, Liam's split served as a watershed moment. Not the end, perhaps, but a crucial stop. He had broken not because of a lack of love, but because of an abundance of it, seeking a foundation strong enough to endure the betrayals that constituted their universe. Hope, in turn, learned to recognize the nuances, balancing filial responsibility with marital commitment. The days were long, packed with work, parenthood, and unsaid longings, yet beneath the sorrow was the possibility of greater understanding. As the story progressed through the glossy yet gritty terrain of Beverly Hills, where secrets simmered and passions erupted, Liam and Hope's separation emphasized the timeless struggle. How far can devotion go before it becomes complicity? Hope had pushed the bounds of her marriage by tolerating Deacon's infidelity, whereas Liam had put a line in the sand. It was unclear whether they would ever cross paths again, but the experience had already altered them both, forging strength from pain and clarity from confusion. During lonely nights, their shared history was replayed in flashbacks, stolen kisses at Forrester, pressured vows, and Beth's birth amid delight and fear. Liam recalled Hope's courage during his own hard moments, as well as her forgiveness when he fell short. Hope recalled Liam's steadfast conviction in her abilities and his patient guiding through concerns. These recollections nourished secret prayers for reconciliation, even as daily reality demanded progress. This schism paralleled wider themes of redemption, consequence, and the cost of second chances in Los Angeles theater. Deacon's enjoyment came at a cost, Sheila's pain threatened revenge, and the younger generation watched as they discovered that love took more than passion. It demanded alignment. Liam's decision to terminate things, while heartbreaking, was an act of bravery that preserved his integrity among the upheaval. Hope focused her emphasis on HFDF, her line symbolizing new beginnings, integrating designs with themes of regeneration. Colleagues recognized her quiet drive and offered encouragement without probing. Liam, too, excelled at negotiating, his focus sharpening like a sword. However, in boardrooms and ateliers, their thoughts turned to the empty space that the other once occupied. They reunited after an accidental encounter at a charity event. They exchanged polite pleasantries while dressed stylishly, yet their eyes revealed deeper currents. "You look well," Liam replied softly. "So do you," Hope answered, her voice catching. The discourse skirted the boundaries of their anguish, touching on the children before shifting to safer topics. As they parted ways, a lingering glance conveyed volumes. Love endured, complicated by scars still healing. Counseling proceeded intermittently, revealing layers. Hope's dread of replicating her mother's pattern of volatile relationships and Liam's anguish from numerous losses and betrayals. Therapists guided them toward empathy through active listening techniques that revealed how they had felt unseen. Hope understood the irresponsibility of her support, which rejected Liam's legitimate concerns about SHEILA's volatility. Liam recognized that his attitude was partially protective, possibly an overreach caused by previous heartaches. Small gestures, such as a shared coffee after a session or a text about Beth's school performance, helped to spur progress. The first absolute separation gave way to a careful coexistence. Friends speculated on a reunion, while the soap's fans yearned for romance's victory. However, real healing takes time and conscious choices to rebuild trust brick by brick. Deacon's new chapter with Taylor presented its own challenges, causing Hope to face the consequences of her actions. Her visits to her father had taken on a reflective tone. "I backed you because I believed in your happiness," she admitted, "but it cost me mine temporarily." Deacon, wiser in hindsight, pushed her to fight for Liam. "Don't let my mess define your future, kid." SHEILA, the ever-present wild card, shifted her focus away from immediate threats, possibly toward new plans or reluctant acceptance. The family's collective sigh of relief was hesitant, knowing that serenity in their environment was often fleeting. As the seasons changed in the City of Angels, Liam and Hope's narrative progressed from breakup to tentative bridge building. Walks at the park with the kids became shared experiences, and laughing returned haltingly. The discussions grew deeper, addressing not only Deacon's treachery but also the underlying habits that had strained them. Hope promised to maintain a better balance of loyalties, while Liam pledged to trust her heart while freely expressing concerns. Their love was tested by fire, and it emerged tempered, stronger in vulnerability, wiser in boundaries. Hope's well-intentioned support for her father highlighted the importance of judgment in family relationships. Liam's hard decision to end the relationship triggered progress that neither of them could have predicted. Finally, the story of their parting intertwined with the greater history of bold and beautiful lives, in which treachery and forgiveness danced endlessly. Liam and Hope, once shattered, stood on the verge of reconciliation, their bond redefined by the tragedy that threatened to end it. Love, they discovered, was not about perfect alignment, but about choosing each other despite flaws, navigating betrayals with open eyes and dedicated hearts.